The two Ohio State quarterbacks have come out and said they're not wild about the possibility of a platoon system. Barrett and Cardale Jones, they each want to be the starter, and they want to stay in the game. Is there ever a situation where it's okay to platoon your quarterbacks? And I'm not just talking about one game, 2 games. I'm talking about a full season. Do you ever remember it actually working?
I don't remember it working very well.
Florida, national championship.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Good.
So
good one. What was that, 2000?
But that was Tim Tebow, so that was a miracle.
Was it 2006?
It wasn't a true platoon, though. No, it wasn't. Chris Leak was the man, and Tim Tebow was the change of pace guy. I was there for the game where they won the national championship.
They played 2 quarterbacks all the time. They played one a majority of the time, but they played the other one in goal line situations.
Okay, so now we do have a good debate, though. So, you can play 2, but there has to be a number 1 and a number 2, and you have to have that distinction there. Now, Tim Tebow was more beloved by the fans by far, so, to the point where there'd be Gator fans that say, Tim Tebow won us the national championship as a freshman. No, he didn't. He helped. Yeah, but Chris Leak was the guy.
You hear what we're saying here, though? In the whole history of football, we've come up with one example where it's worked.
I could give you. I think I can give you 20.
So Woody's correct. You can play 2, but I think one of them has to be. You can't have 1 and 1A. You have to have 1 and 2. You have to know who's the man, and there has to be total buy-in by the coach and the 2 quarterbacks. And what you're saying at Ohio State, you don't have total buy-in by the quarterbacks.
When Brian Griese and Tom Brady were at Michigan, they had 2.
Did they platoon?
Brady was the backup to Brian Griese, and Brady would be brought in to practically every game. I mean, you go back and look at that. That Griese was the starter. Griese had to be talked into coming back. Instead of going to Brady, Griese wasn't going to play his final year, and they got talked into it. I think there are prime examples of that at Oregon and other places where there have been guys that are supplemental first. But if you don't like it, because I brought up Jones the other day saying, I don't like the way this is going to work out. Well, there's 2 words: transfer. Okay. Well, they could have. One of the 3 of them. One of them moved to another position. He wasn't going to be. He's not going to be a great quarterback in the pros anyway, but he's certainly not going to be a wide receiver in the pros. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Just he wants to finish school there. So great for you. Maybe you'll get in. Maybe they'll all get hurt again. But if Jones felt like he is getting screwed there, he should have gone somewhere else. There are 50 schools that would have taken him.
Let me expand it. Can it work on the pro level?
Well, it worked in Dallas for a while. Play after play after play. They got to Super Bowl with playing both of them. Then they went to Roger.
You're talking about Staubach and
Morton.
And Craig Morton, yeah.
Yeah, they actually brought the plays in. Mm-hmm. Dan Reeves tried to mimic that later with Tommy Maddox and
Sean Moore.
Yeah, and that didn't work here.
No. It was 4 games. It was a disaster.
There weren't 2 guys.
Yeah.
I looked at Morton's stuff, though. I was surprised, and I think you 2 would be. For some reason, I'd forgotten him. Morton wasn't much of a starter for a while in Dallas. He didn't start that many games in his career there, but he started in a Super Bowl. But he had years where he was starting 4 games and 5 games. And I kind of thought he would have been around forever. He didn't really start 15, 16 games until he went to the Giants and wasn't any good there. And his most starts were once he came to Denver when he was basically washed up.
Did Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen, was that a platoon system?
Yeah.
In-game platoon or game-to-game?
Pittsburgh had used all 3. They had Jefferson Street, Joe Gilliam. They had Terry Bradshaw, and they had the guy that spent a lot of his career in Denver, out of Hanratty.
Terry Hanratty.
So they used 3.
Whose wife worked for the Broncos for a while.
Yeah, that's why I said he spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh had those 3. You had Jurgensen and Kilmer. Theismann fit into that toward they were alternating quarterbacks. I think it's gone on, and it's worked on occasion.
It's tough to make it work.
Miami, when they won the Super Bowl and won those 19 games, they used Earl Morrall, who was an old quarterback, and they had Bob Greasy, and Bob got hurt part of the year, so they were back
Earl
and
Morrall
forth.
came in and won 6 games. But there are too many disadvantages to trying to platoon quarterbacks. Far too many disadvantages.
I think the major disadvantage is the backup thinks he should be the starter.
Right. And sometimes it splits the locker room, and sometimes it even splits the coaching staff.
I'll give you another one. Norris Weiss and another guy split time at Ole Miss. One was a rollout quarterback, one was a passing quarterback. I think there's a lot more examples.
There's an advantage to that.
Than you might believe. I think having been around a game 50 years, that, if you gave me time, I could continue to, because Manning split some time early in his career. He didn't start early. He was kind of alternating because he was the rollout quarterback.
Well, advantages. You keep the defense off balance. The defense has to spend more time during the week preparing for 2 different quarterbacks. You keep 2 quarterbacks fresh because they're playing every week.
Don't have to worry about them getting hurt.
But I think there are just far too many disadvantages to it.
So obviously,
rhythm for one.
The next great experiment is Sam Bradford and little Timmy Tebow.
Yes, that's not going to happen.
That
segment brought to you by...
the two of you continue to stick it up my butt, except I remind you that he has won as many first-round playoff games in Denver as Peyton Manning, and he won twice as many. He played in 2 more than the guys that both of you beloved. And they could be, revisionist history is incredible.
I have a suggestion for you.
Revisionist history, Brady Quinn still hasn't won a game for the... Oh, that's right, he didn't even play in a play. And Kyle Orton, I asked you the other day, and you still don't really have the answer to the question, how many playoff games did Kyle Orton in his entire career?
None.
In his entire career. He led Chicago to the playoffs, and guess what? Rex Grossman was the starting quarterback.
I have a suggestion for you.
Get over it?
No. My suggestion is you should go back to the NFL Hall of Fame voting committee and ask back on so you can plead the case for Tim Tebow and the Hall of Fame.